Dedicated for over 20 years to marine conservation, most recently as the Belize Oceans Manager and Fisheries Strategy Lead for the Mesoamerica Reef, Julie Robertson currently ponders, what if we could turn fishers of the sea into farmers of the sea?
I'm submerged waist deep in the warm, clear, tropical waters off the coast of Belize. Surrounding me are lines of red algae, locally called seaweed. I take a piece off one of the lines, I take a bite. It's delicious, crunchy, and salty. But then I look below the surface, and there I see a plethora of reef fish. They're damsels, wrasses, and invertebrates too. Corals, conch, crabs. And then right there, in the middle of a seaweed patch, is the tiniest spiny lobster I'd ever seen in my life. No bigger than an inch. Not so long ago, that precious little lobster would not have been found there. In a place that once resembled a desert rather than an oasis for marine life. Before the seaweed farms, there was little protection for that lobster or other marine creatures that now call these farms home. For as long as there's been a fishing industry in Belize, fishers have been harvesting seaweed from the wild. Here it is. Not much to look at, is it? This is after it's been harvested and dried. It used to be plentiful, but fishers today will tell you that this is a rare find and can only be found off the offshore atolls. That's probably because it's called the fisherman's Viagra. This seaweed fetches a price of $15 per pound on the local market and is an important ingredient in a local drink that's believed to contain aphrodisiac properties. Once plentiful, it's now a rare find. It's popular, as you can imagine, but now very scarce. Similarly, our fisheries, once abundant, is now dwindling. Having seen the relationship between the seaweed farms and our fisheries, we wondered, what if we could turn fishers of the sea into farmers of the sea and help both our seaweed and our fisheries? The Nature Conservancy is working with fishers to help design seaweed farms that follow best practices. We're using satellite imagery to help guide best placement for these farms. We are measuring the impact of the seaweed farms on both the environment and on people. And finally, we're designing a financial platform that will give access to low financing options for new seaweed growers after, and only after, they have met all the sustainability standards. Seaweed farms bring income to fishers. It also protects critical nursery ground for queen conch. It provides a habitat for lobster. It also promotes gender equity by providing jobs to women from coastal fishing communities. There is a lot of work to be done here, but we're not doing it alone. Thanks to the Fisheries Department, these seaweed farms are fully protected. No one is allowed to fish or harvest anything from these farms other than seaweed. The Ministry of Economic Development is building the capacity within coastal fishing communities in things like business planning, entrepreneurship, and market development for the seaweed industry, allowing the Nature Conservancy to do what we do best, which is applying science to achieve our conservation objectives. When I came across that tiny little lobster a few years ago, I stumbled on something great. Our efforts to restore both the environment and our economy was leading to the protection of spiny lobster. Spiny lobster is the single most economically valuable fishery species in the Caribbean. We are helping fishers to stay on the water in the environment that they know and love, while restoring our fisheries. Now that is what I call a win-win for this generation and generations to come.